Hey friends, so it's been a minute. I am back, hopefully, for now, or we'll see. We'll see how it goes. As I may have mentioned in a previous video, my partner and I are planning a big move and everything is now in motion, and there has been just like constant disruption and both like to the physical environment and to our well-being and schedules and routines and all of that. So while this is not going to be like a real tips video, I think there's probably still going to be some things that you can take from my experience. If you're watching this channel for the first time, welcome. My name is Asia, and this is an atypical video, but generally on this channel, there's lots of videos geared towards ambitious, neurodivergent, and multi-passionate folks, and we are talking about productivity and goal setting and just how to live more of the life you want. So if that sounds good to you, I would love it if you subscribed, and you'll be able to stay up on upcoming videos. So basically things have been very full in new and exciting in some ways, but pretty tiring as well. I knew I was gonna have to drop some things, but it's been more than anticipated. So I just wanted to give a little update about what's going on with me, but mostly kind of share some of the things I've been learning, and also hear from you if there's any tips or words of wisdom that you would share around some of these things. Okay, so some of the things I've been learning, or lessons that I've already learned before, and are just getting reiterated over and over. One of the biggest ones is really about self-care. And actually, generally when I'm talking about self-care, I'm talking about basic self-care. I'm talking about drinking enough water, eating as well as possible, eating at all, I think sometimes is a win, and also getting enough rest, getting movement, and getting outside. Like, all these things are what I think are really basics of how we can look after ourselves. And we know that self-care is really helpful for our brains, our bodies, and our emotional regulation, all of these different things. So that's something that, while it has been difficult to sometimes motivate or just to stay consistent, it's been something that I've really tried to keep a hold on, even if it's in less ways than usual. And one of the things that is so nice about this time of year is it's so nice to be outside. And so I try to spend as much time outside as possible. And we have a really beautiful backyard, which my partner has really put so much work into. I'll put a little video, but it's just lovely to just even go in the backyard and just see all the beautiful flowers and watch the birds and the lizards, and that's been something that's been really fun. And speaking of looking at birds, I know it's such a classical like you're becoming middle-aged sort of activity, but it is very fun to look at the birds and then try to figure out what bird they are and learn their calls. And so I've been really enjoying using the Merlin Bird ID app, not sponsored, just, it's a good time. I recommend it. We have all these Western fence lizards in our backyard, and they're very territorial. And I went outside early in the morning the other day, and they like to be in the sun. And there's only one small patch of sun so far in the backyard, and one lizard was bullying the other one because they wanted to be in the sun spot. And I just thought that was really funny. In these kind of turbulent times, it's really nice to have these moments where you can get a smile in a small way. Speaking to like why I've been away from YouTube and also social media and some of the other things that I, had taken such pains to cultivate some consistency around, is really about pacing. And we've talked a little bit about energy management, and something, if you're interested, I could talk more about, but pacing yourself is so important. And when you know things are gonna get busy, hectic, really full in your life, even if you don't know for sure, but you can kind of anticipate that maybe that's the case, the more you can do to preemptively pace yourself and also manage your sensory input, the better. Preemptively planning to cancel doing some things, or to not say yes to everything, to decrease workloads at work, at home, decrease social commitments, whatever are the things that don't necessarily replenish your energy or otherwise take up a lot of time, those are the things to deprioritize. Just be really mindful of your pacing, and just know that the compound effect of all of the changes, all of the different things going on, those things all take a toll. And so the more we can be mindful of our pacing, the better. So what does that look like practically? Again, committing to less, and also honoring when you feel tired or when you need to take a break, maybe taking more breaks, being more protective of your downtime, and indulging in our special interests and our hobbies and things like that can actually restore our energy. So those are also things to just kind of consider, like how you want to incorporate those things in your life. And so kind of along the lines of pacing, because it does impact our energy, is our sensory inputs. We had our roof redone, which was I don't recommend it. I don't recommend doing it. I know that it may need to get done, but if you can avoid doing it on your house or can avoid doing it when you are living in your house, do that. But otherwise avoid it, especially if you are very sensitive to noise, to mess, to sound, to disruption, which if you're watching this, probably you are too. So yeah, I don't recommend it. It really sucks. So we had people in, on, and or around our house every day for one reason or another for about 2 weeks straight. And even though that part's over, we're still dealing with some of the repercussions of that. So our neurodivergent brains are very sensitive to stimulus of all kinds. We experience life at a higher emotional, physical volume, essentially. And so we're just more sensitive. So when we have these big changes and everything like that, the more we can do, again, preemptively, the more we can do to protect ourselves in advance and as we go, the better off we're going to be. So this is really when knowing yourself and learning about where are you most sensitive from a sensory perspective, and what are the things that help you stay balanced from that or recover from having too much stimulus. So I think all of us are probably using screens way more than is good. That's subjective, but sometimes we use screens as a way to rest when actually maybe we need to do something that is even less stimulating than looking at screens. So maybe that's coloring, maybe that is being outside in nature, maybe that's exercise, something that is a little bit less engaging. And so one of the things that help me, I think sensitive to certain kinds of sounds and noises. So using my noise canceling headphones or my earplugs really help me. Also using earplugs when I sleep, which I don't always do, but I always have a white noise machine. And, finding spaces of quiet. So when all this roof stuff was going on, we were thankfully able to use a neighbor's space, which was quiet during the day. And then we also escaped to our cars sometimes just because they were nice, contained, familiar environments and, relatively quiet inside the car, even just to sit in it. And I think, really one of the big reiterations over these past few months has really been about embracing good enough. All of the components of packing, of moving, of the admin stuff, the practical things, they've triggered some of the perfectionism that I think sometimes we can work around or subdue because it feels like, we need to kind of clean everything really well. We need to make everything look as perfect as possible for the house pictures. We need to fix all of these different things in order for our house to be, purchasable. And I think because there's so many unknowns, there's so many things we can't control, leaning into that, I think has been a, sort of coping mechanism basically, but it's very draining to do that. And so I think as much as possible, I've tried to just zoom out a bit and just get some perspective and be like, what's okay to be good enough? Where can I embrace good enough in all aspects of not just of this moving process, but also in, my own approach to my work, to cooking, to movement, all of those things. It doesn't have to be optimal, but if I can find a good enough approach, then that's going to be awesome. And ultimately, there's only so much that we can do. And that just has to be okay. We need to preserve some energy and mental, emotional capacity for all that is still to come. We still need to move out of our place. We still need to find a place to live. We still need to do all of the little bits and pieces that go along with this big transition. This is the longest either of us have lived in the same physical space in our entire lives. So that's really significant. And so for me, I really want to make sure that we both take time to kind of process that and to grieve this chapter of our life that we're moving on from, and also to get excited about what's to come. I just wanted to share that update, and if life is feeling full for you right now, or you're getting ready to go into a busy season or a disruptive season, I just want to remind you to be really kind to yourself and give yourself plenty of grace. And at some point in our lives, these are things that we experience or have to contend with. And it's okay to pause, take a deep breath, and, get some perspective and make sure that you're doing your best to honor your needs. So we've gotten through a lot of the really big components of this part of where we're at with the moving. So we have a little bit of a reprieve-ish for the next few weeks or so, it seems. And so I'm hoping through that time I can create some more videos. I want to do a little mini series on like to-do lists, also something about creating a productive workspace, maybe something around how to prioritize tasks, and also a few kind of tips around how to deal with overwhelm. If there's anything you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for listening to this update, and it feels good to just get back hopefully into the swing of things. I hope to have more to share with you really soon. Keep taking good care of yourself, go drink some water, go look at some birds, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!